Hello everyone. This video is kind of like a little bit weirdly sentimental, but it's just something on my mind that I want to say and express. Maybe it might help somebody. Maybe somebody's going through the same thing I'm going through. Or maybe they're starting their journey of healing and they don't know what they're going to expect. But the thing somebody, or nobody actually, no one ever tells you about healing is that it kind of sucks. But like not in a bad way. Let me explain. It's kind of confusing. Basically, when you start healing, you start being okay with things. You kind of become numb, but not in a negative way. Like, just anger no longer makes you react like that. Your family no longer triggers you like that. Friends no longer make you feel insecure. You kind of become isolated. It's not from self isolation, although that is an easy pitfall in the beginning. You become isolated because you don't think like other people, and a lot of people are unhealed, unfortunately, and you no longer can connect with them. So you start keeping your peace. You start prioritizing your peace and setting up boundaries, and because they can no longer trigger you, you become boring. You become a really boring person to talk to and hang out with because you're like, "Oh, I don't want to drink, or I don't want to smoke, or I don't want to go to clubs, or I don't want to go hook up with people." You are like, you're boring. But to you, when you are actually in that space where you're healing and you're like, "No, I don't want to do those things. No, I don't want to eat junk food. No, I don't want to sit up and stay up till 2 a.m. on my phone." Because eventually you do hit a point where you're like, "This isn't worth it anymore. I don't feel good after I do it." Like, yeah, it's fun and all, but like day in, day out, doing the same thing every day and expecting a different result, it doesn't make sense, especially if you're not, you know, if you're a normally adjusted person who knows and understands consequences, you know that you are partially to blame, actually fully to blame at some point for the consequences that occur in your life. And so you begin to understand, hey, what do I need to do to change my life, to do things differently? And so you start prioritizing the boring things that you know will help and that you know are important long term. That's exercise, that's eating healthy, that's not going out, not staying up till 2 a.m., doing the work you actually need to do. If you're in school, doing your actual work. If you're at work, doing a better job, showing up on time. It's like one of those things where you just no longer relate to other people that aren't healed or don't see life that way, and they will distance themselves from you, and maybe you'll distance yourself from them if it's a really toxic relationship. And you will just be by yourself, and at some point that really starts to bother you because you get scared and you feel alone and you feel like there's really nobody that understands me. And then you know that it's worse actually being around these people that make you feel 10 times worse than you do by yourself. Yeah, it gets to that point where you're just like, I'd rather be by myself. Maybe I'd rather, be with my plants at home and watering them. Or if you have pets, I'd rather be with my pet. Or if you have kids, you'd rather be with your family, right? But sometimes family, you distance yourself from other family members who, know all your weak points, know your past, know your entire life. And they begin manipulating you because they know everything about you. And maybe they want you to return to the way that you were if they see you're progressing or changing. And they get uncomfortable with your change too. And you start to realize, maybe this person can't stay with me. Maybe they can't, be with me on this journey of me changing and wanting a different life, because sometimes it's just not possible if they don't want to change with you. And you start being angry about that. That stops bothering you. You start thinking, I'm going to miss this person and I wish them the best, but if they don't want to do it, who am I to force them to? Like, you start thinking, like, am I some higher being? Am I God? Am I like an authority figure in their life? No. So like this anger I used to feel, this annoyance of like, oh, people and their like stupidity or their mistakes that they continue to make every day. Like, I'm not accountable for that. It's not my problem. Even though I was put, in a position, and I think many people are, where you kind of have to be the problem solver in people's lives. Maybe it started with your parents, or maybe your grandparents, or your siblings. Like, you were the problem solver. You were the one that everyone depended on. And you reach a point where you're just like, I don't need to do that. You're everyone's an adult, you're an adult, everyone's, hopefully able-bodied and, mentally sane. And it's really up to them the life that they want to live. And if they keep putting their responsibilities on you, you're going to have to distance yourself at some point. You're going to have to be like, hey, I can't do that. I have my own responsibilities. How is it fair if I put my responsibilities on you? No, it isn't. And so you start realizing, hey, this is kind of isolating. I'm kind of by myself, but you don't feel lonely. You feel like I kind of enjoy my own company more than I enjoy other people's problems or other people's worries and depression and sadness, and maybe you see the same mistakes or same patterns they make every day, and it really, begins to frustrate you because there's really nothing you can do to stop it, and it's not your place either. So, you get tired of giving them advice, you get tired of hearing the same story, and so the best thing you realize is to just focus on yourself. And you kind of feel dumb with this realization because you're like, wow, it was all really simple all along. You just focus on yourself. You put all your energy into yourself instead of other people. But when that was your life, when that was your pattern, it was just your default settings. And at some point you have to be like, oh, well, these settings are wrong. And so you're just you're just chilling. And it's like you're like, is it always gonna be like this? Am I always gonna be by myself? But even if it is, if this is like this is it, is that such a bad thing? You start thinking that. And I don't think it is. I think that when you just focus on the little things every day and the things that bring you joy, again, your plants or maybe your friends or your family, your kids, your pet, when you start just being like, hey, maybe I don't really like this, but I'm actually, really thankful for spending time with my son or spending time with my cat. You start being like, the bad things or maybe the things I can't control, they're not that bad. They'll get better and there'll be change and there'll be ebbs and flows and it's fine. But when you talk to other people who are still not healed yet, the little bad things in life, they hyper focus on them and it becomes like this thing where that's their identity, their pain. And the thing about pain is you still get dopamine. You still get a dopamine rush. You get it from pain, you get it from sadness, and you get it from happiness. And so you start prioritizing happiness, you start prioritizing peace, and you no longer even like, I don't know, I'm like slowly getting bored of social media, to be honest with you. I don't listen to music like that. Um, I just like listening to instrumental music at this point, or house music, or just I've been distancing myself from watching triggering videos, from interacting with social media like TikTok, um, even YouTube. I just keep scrolling, and I'm like, I don't. I'm protecting my peace. I'm not watching this. Like everything that's going on is actually um, it's kind of horrendous what I'm seeing, the trends I'm seeing on social media, and how everything is so low vibrational. I know that kind of sounds cringe saying that out loud, but that's all I can describe it as, a video where somebody's talking about somebody's murder or somebody's something that happened to someone, or the predatory YouTubers on this channel. To be honest with you, yes, it's terrible. Yes, we should know, who the creators are on this platform and whether or not we should be watching their videos. But it almost seems like it's a trend. I don't know how to describe it. Everyone's hopping on this trend because they see that it's profitable and they see that people are clicking on these videos. And for me personally, I can't keep interacting with these videos because they make me feel sad. They disturb my peace. They actually affect my personal life. Whether I would like to admit it or not. It starts making me be like, what am I watching? What am I interacting with? And then I start thinking, maybe it's best that I don't watch these videos and maybe start making my own, like right now, because I can't relate to the things that other people make and I don't want them to affect my personal life. So this is just my own experience. This is, some thoughts about healing and prioritizing yourself and prioritizing your peace and your happiness. It becomes isolating. It becomes a little bit boring. It becomes a little bit, you might feel like it's stagnant, but it's changing your life for the better. Well, at least it changed my life for the better. So, yeah, it kind of sucks, but like in a good way, is all I'm trying to say. Thank you for watching. I hope to make more videos like this, and if you like them, let me know. Maybe if you had the same experiences, please share them. And have a great rest of your day. Bye.